Hi everyone. I'm very conscious that I'm the last one to speak before you've got lunch, so I'm going to speak really fast and get you to your lunch. My name's Wendy Rose. I've been in the health and wellbeing industry for over 20 years. This started as my passion for health and wellbeing started as I set up an occupational health and wellbeing company, and then I worked with various organisations, most recently Bupa, and I've since joined Dialogue as a director. And Dialogue is a global health and wellbeing business looking after over 49,000 organisations across the world. And in the UK, we support a number of large organisations in a white labelled capacity. So I want to start by acknowledging the roller coaster of events we've witnessed over recent years. And as HR leaders, we've seen firsthand how this has necessitated huge amounts of resilience and adaptability in our workforces. However, as we've seen, just being able to withstand the storm is not enough. Our workforce, now scattered across various settings, needs a sturdy arsenal of tools and resources to make dispersed workforces not just feasible, but fruitful. According to a recent study, workplace grievances over the last 2 years have risen by almost a third. And this is indicative of the huge strain that the rapid change is placing on organisational dynamics. But here's where it gets really interesting. 39% of those grievances relate to well-being. Mental health is now a non-negotiable pillar when it comes to productivity and morale, and employee engagement, the glue that binds a dispersed workforce. So, what's this data telling us? That it's time to embrace a more comprehensive approach to well-being, to create environments where our workforces not merely survive, but thrive. So imagine empowering your teams with resources that are not just perks, but integral threads of our fabric. We're not just talking about strengthening individuals, but weaving collective resilience through synergy and support. Recent studies tell us that the vast majority of our workforces are not engaged. And in fact, this is serious among our frontline workers, where we know that 80% of our frontline workers feel disconnected or isolated, and these are the face of your organisations. The low retention rates among this group cost up to 250% of the employee's salary. So it's clear the wellbeing frameworks that previously served as pillars of success no longer align with the evolving needs. We find ourselves navigating an environment where change is the singular constant. And this necessitates an innovative and agile approach, preventative, focused, and primed for early intervention. So imagine your workforce a mosaic of lives, each at different stages, each with its own tapestry. How intimately do you know the threads? How attuned are you to the nuances, the demographics, life stages, health risks, preferences of your invaluable human capital? This isn't just about data. It's about the living, breathing essence of your organisation. Take a magnifying glass to the health and wellbeing solutions you have currently in place. Are they being used? Are they making a difference? Is there a better way to structure them for the evolving needs of your staff? To forge a thriving workforce, it's essential that we truly connect with our people, the heartbeat of our organisation, and we have to recognise the diversity and dynamism. This requires a methodical and data-driven approach. Our initiatives should not be static. They need to evolve in response to changing circumstances and employee feedback through continuous evaluation, analysing health data, behaviour patterns, population trends. We can foster an environment that not only supports our employees, but optimises their performance and commitment to the organisation. So through Dialogue's user research, we discovered 4 distinct personas when it comes to mental health needs. On the one hand, you have individuals who are not quite ready to sit face-to-face with a therapist. They prefer using apps anonymously, usually in the privacy of their own homes. And on the other end, you have someone who needs time to really think about what they're feeling and how to express themselves. And by redeveloping mental health solutions through the lenses of these 4 personas, we open doors to understanding, to empathy, and to customized support. This tailored approach doesn't just mitigate barriers, it builds bridges that connect diverse workforces to resources that resonate with their core needs. And the beauty of this approach is that it's preventative and proactive. It doesn't wait for a crisis. It equips individuals with tools to avert the storm or to navigate through it with confidence. Now let's look at some generational nuances. By 2025, Gen Z will account for almost 30% of the workforce. They're not just knocking on our doors, they are storming in. Now, let's imagine an aspiring Gen Z employee. Let's call her Zoe. Zoe, a talented 23-year-old professional, she's sitting at her desk scrolling through mental health apps. And her heart yearns for something that will help her nurture her body and mind and soul. And she's not alone. Gen Zs are the wellness warriors. They're seeking holistic well-being. And guess what? They're hungry for change and they won't settle for less. An interesting analogy, which I recently heard that I want to share, is if you think about your workforce as a bustling city. So you have your Gen Zs, the cyclists, who are swift and agile. Then you have your millennials, the car drivers, they're a little bit more settled. Then you have your Gen Xers, who prefer the trusty old trains. And then you have the baby boomers, who have wisdom and prefer walking the paths they know. So how would you keep this city thriving? In HR terms, the answer lies in personalized, multifaceted well-being strategies that understand Zoe just as much as they understand Bob, who's been with you for 30 years. An ever-expanding body of research has firmly established the connection between physical and mental health. And they're not just connected, they're 2 sides of the same coin. We know that mental health problems seriously exacerbate physical illness, affecting outcomes and the cost of treatment. And the effect of poor mental health on physical health is estimated to cost the NHS £8 billion a year. We, of course, know the effect that poor physical health has on the greater risk of developing depression and anxiety, for example. And a staggering 88% of the UK's preventable disease burden is lifestyle related. A recent study tried to figure out how past health and current health is affected, and it looked at the difference between physical and mental. And this was over 10 years, looking at 10,000 individuals. The study wanted to see if lifestyle choices such as exercise and social capital, such as having friends, played a role in this connection. And what they found was that physical and mental health are inextricably linked, each influencing the other. But where it gets even more interesting is that they uncovered the indirect paths, with lifestyle choices notably physical activity being a significant bridge, even a catalyst between past and present physical and mental health. So what does this mean for us as guardians of organisational well-being? It means that we have to integrate comprehensive well-being strategies into our health policies. It goes beyond merely recognising the connection between mental and physical. It's about creating environments that promote physical activity and social support as fundamental components of overall well-being. We must acknowledge and actively support the interplay between physical and mental health. With this in mind, here is a case study where we worked with a group of sedentary employees. This was with a large financial services organisation. We delivered some physical challenges and habit-driving content, and we were able to move 80% of this sedentary group to achieving at least 150 minutes of activity each week. This isn't just a win for the waistline, it's a jackpot for their health and productivity. We know that physical health prevents a plethora of diseases, but an active employee has 5 fewer absences per year, 5 days fewer absences per year. That is a whole work week. So the ripple effect of a holistic wellbeing program. A decline in the number of sick days and late arrivals, unscheduled absences is often the first indicator that your wellbeing initiatives are bearing fruit. Calculating the cost saved by reducing absenteeism can provide tangible proof on return of investment. But are you also including those hidden extras like reduction in replacement costs, occupational health costs, sick pay? Now let's look at productivity, which isn't just about how many hours the employee clocks in, it's about the quality and value of their output. Through surveys and performance indicators, we can assess whether our wellbeing initiatives are creating an environment where creativity blossoms and efficiency soars. A wellbeing program that encourages mental sharpness and physical stamina can give birth to an army of high-performing go-getters. The third cornerstone is retention, and we know that wellbeing programs foster a sense of belonging and care. By analysing turnover rates and exit interview data, you can gauge if your program is flourishing enough to support employees put down their roots. A drop in turnover rates post-implementation will not only be a direct impact on costs, but the creation of a culture where employees want to stay and grow. And beyond absenteeism, productivity and retention, there are so many critical aspects. For example, monitoring health insurance premiums and health costs. For example, Johnson & Johnson did a big study and were able to show that where their employees were engaged in a holistic wellbeing program, they were able to reduce their healthcare spend by over $500 per employee. Also looking at things like EAP usage and also digital GP usage, the idea being that you reduce the episodic usage of these programs. And this will also help avoid those price hikes at renewal because of very, very high utilization rates. So these are simply the cherries on the top, creating a cycle of positive reinforcement within the organization. So with all that in mind, can we really afford to turn a blind eye to the needs to a change for a more holistic wellbeing program? And as we pave our paths to the future, I would urge you to ask yourselves, is prevention with a capital P the guiding force of your wellbeing program? Are you recognizing the reciprocal relationship between mental and physical health? Do your tools possess the adaptability to really address a diverse assembly? And is your wellbeing program yielding the coveted return on investment? And if you're going to go away from this talk today, those are the 4 things that I would urge you to think about. And that's it. Thank you very, very much.